Thank you to Ms. Whitney for having the heart to put this together to honor single women, single mothers, which is the hardest job in the world. And so let's give her another round of applause for it's not easy putting an event together. There's so many behind the scene details, so thank you. I know it's hard work. Yes, my name is Amy Legister. I'm the founder and CEO of 3D Lash and Brow, Salon and Academy. We are the #1 private beauty college in Dallas, Texas, and now we're also located in Forney, Texas. When I started the school in 2018, I created it for women just like yourselves, for single women who wanted to go back to school, to be able to provide for their families. And since 2018, we have graduated over 1,000 women. Many of those women have started their own businesses or work for successful salons. And I'm just so excited that I'm able to come and speak to you because I myself was once a single mother. I remember I was a struggling single mother. I was 9 months pregnant. I had lost my job. I was in an empty apartment with no electricity. It was in the middle of winter. And I remember being so cold and looking at my phone on 2% because there was no way I was going to be able to charge my phone because I didn't have any electricity. And nobody would give me a job because I was big and pregnant. And I remember feeling ashamed, afraid, embarrassed, and alone, thinking to myself, how did I get here? How did I get to this point where I'm supposed to be able to provide for my new baby girl soon to be, and I can't even provide for myself? And I remember just feeling overwhelmed and shamed and thinking, how am I going to get out of this situation? I was finally able to get a job at a call center because in the interview they couldn't see what I looked like, that I was 9 months pregnant. But the job started 5 days after I would give birth. But it was either give birth, go to work, or lose my car, which would have been the only way to be able to get a job and be able to provide for her. And so on day 5, I'm going to work. It's in the middle of winter. I'm young, I'm naive, I'm dumb. I'm bringing my newborn baby out in the winter to the babysitter just so I could go to job. And on day 7, my daughter contracts RSV. Does anybody know what that is? Okay. It's one of the deadliest upper respiratory viruses and kills thousands of babies every year. And so on day 7, I see my daughter, she can't breathe. And so I'm rushing to the emergency room and I'm like, oh my God. When I get to the emergency room, they're like, she is just so small that we don't even have the equipment to take, the blood pressure cuff wouldn't fit her, the oxygen mask. And so they had to put her in the ambulance and rush her to the children's hospital. And as I'm driving behind, trying to keep up with my baby, I hear sirens. I'm getting pulled over because I didn't have tags, registration, I didn't have money for insurance. And I'm just praying like, please don't arrest me, please don't impound my car. I'm like, my daughter is literally in that ambulance right ahead of us fighting for her life. And they let me go. And as we get to the emergency room and they're taking her and they're putting her and hooking her up to oxygen masks, and I'm just seeing my newborn 1-week-old baby just struggling for her life. And I remember just praying to God, like, please, please help me get out of this situation. Please, God, if you just heal her, bring her to safety, I will never put myself in this situation ever again. And so she was in the hospital for a whole week. And when I got out, I was like, never again. Never again will I be in a situation where I'm relying on a man or anybody but the Lord. Okay? And I knew that the only way that I was going to be able to change my situation was to invest in myself, to give myself the permission to step out on faith. And so I was like, you know what? I have to get an education. And so I went to dental hygiene school, which was, is anybody any nurses or dental people in here? Okay, those are one of the toughest programs. And here I am as a single mom trying to go to school, but I had to make those sacrifices in order to be able to provide a better life for my daughter. I remember having to put her to bed and study at 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. and then try to get some sleep. I was working at a call center doing surveys. I was literally falling asleep doing surveys. And I remember one customer was like, I was like, do you have any feedback? And he was like, yeah, can I get a representative who cares, who's not bored? But I was just so dead tired from trying to do all things, but I knew that if I didn't do it now, I was never gonna do it. And so I graduated from dental hygiene school, and yeah, it was super hard. I graduated from dental hygiene school as a single mom, but I was in Wichita, Kansas, and it's a very small city, okay? And there weren't really many jobs as a dental hygienist in that city. And so I knew that if I was gonna really succeed, I had to be brave enough to leave my hometown. And I was like, Dallas, Texas kept calling my name, Dallas, Texas. But I was terrified. You know, everybody's like, are you really gonna pack up and leave with your, at this time she was 3 years old, you're 25, 3 years old, and go all the way to Dallas, Texas, no friends, no family? And I'm like, man. And I just wanna say, sometimes we're afraid to ask for a sign from God because we know the answer. Not only do we know the answer, but once we hear his word, we have to be obedient. And so I remember I was packing up my stuff and I'm just afraid, like, God, am I really making the right choice to move, to be uncomfortable? Because I'm comfortable in Kansas. There's 2 highways, Kellogg East and Kellogg West. I'm comfortable. And I remember saying, okay, God, give me a sign. And for some of you guys, I'm a little bit older, we used to have cable TV, and if you flip to like channel 400 or 500, there'd be what? Music stations, right? So I asked God for a sign, I ended up flipping to an R&B station, and all of a sudden a song called Kansas came on by Ashanti. I had never heard this song a day in my life. And the lyrics were, gotta get out of Kansas, gotta take your chances, you gotta get out of this crowd, get out of this 2-bit town. I was like, okay, God, you funny. And at this point, I can't deny it now, right? I got my confirmation. And I just wanna say, some of us are so afraid to get out of a situation. We know that there's places we need to be, things we need to do, but we're comfortable. And when you step out on faith, it makes you very uncomfortable. And I wanna say one of my favorite quotes is, how do you know that you can't walk on water if you never get out of the boat? How do you know that you can't walk on water if you never get out of the boat? And so there I was with my U-Haul and my 3-year-old daughter. And when I tell you that when you step on faith, God shows up and he shows out. That same day that I landed and drove all the way 5 hours to Dallas, Texas, I had never seen my apartment for the first time. I walked in, it was the most beautiful apartment I had ever seen coming from Wichita, Kansas, because I didn't have a chance to fly and see what it looked like. I just, let me get an apartment and God will work it out. That same day I had an interview lined up. Okay, I drove, changed into a suit, went to the dental office. The man who interviewed me didn't actually own that dental office or work for it, but he actually owned a luxury dental office not too far away. But he was helping out that dentist friend by interviewing me. And as he's interviewing me, he's telling me about his office. And I just said, God, I want to work for his office, not this one. But 3 months later, I ended up working at his dental office. I met his wife, and I was like, you know what? I met your husband when I first moved here, and he remembered me, and they hired me.